welcome everyone to the first podcast of the year of No Dirty Whites. I'm Sensation and I'm with Miss Molefe. So there's something that I came across today. This is what happened. So the CSA 4-day series is finished and the Lions won it. Congratulations to the Lions. They won the match on the last day. Dinado Porcheter scored 155 not out. Now that's cool. Okay, that's done. But there's something else about this that I want to discuss about the 4-day series. Actually, it's not about the 4-day series, but let's say it's about the 4-day series. So I wrote this article in one of the South African blogs, online magazine. I think they do print as well. So, but the point that we're speaking about there is Black African batters. Now, he says Aviom Kijima obviously is the highest run scorer in terms of Black African batters, and he was number 6 in the African batters, which is cool and great. He passed the 500 mark. He scored 504 runs. Carl Verena passed him literally on the last day. In his last innings. Actually, even on the last day, because I think that was on day 5 when he got out. So that's good and great. So now, what did I have a problem with in that article? The main thing I had a problem with is the fact that the writer stated one of the reasons we don't have Black African batters is because of the poor township coaching, like the coaches. And he also mentioned the facilities. Now that is something
So basically he's referring to the coaching infrastructure.
Yes, coaching infrastructure and the facilities of the clubs or schools. Now I have a problem with that part. Now the reason why I have a problem with it and I needed us to discuss it is the fact that most Elanosas nowadays, like most players or most batters that come out at these what do you call this thing, provincial teams, even the ones that go to under 19 weeks, don't really come from hubs most of the time. They actually come from the elite schools. So the boys get a bursary maybe at 12 years old, 13 years old, 11-year-old. By the time they get to high school, they've been getting good coaches from these schools that the better privileged players are getting. And it's what the white players, colored players, be it Indian players, it doesn't necessarily matter. What matters, what I'm talking about is the fact that they're getting elite cricket education. Now, how do we put part of the blame about these youngsters who are not performing at national level to coaches who last coached them when they were 11 years old?
Actually, that's a good point.
Because for me, it just feels like it's people speaking about things they don't know about.
They could perhaps come in and say they know everything that they're speaking about, but I hear you on the point of the coaches in these township areas or these communities or these hubs last coached them when they were a specific age, and by the time they reach
By the time
professional cricket, they've gone through the elite school system,
including the provincial coaches. So now, how do we say we put the end? And let me speak about the Western Cape, for example. Luckily enough, I think in the Western Province under 19 team this year, there were quite a few boys from the hubs. So obviously they're not going to elite schools. Like there are about 2 or 3 from the Kalicha Hub. Congratulations to the Kalicha Hub.
Oh, the Kalicha Hub is definitely producing.
Yes. But now, let's go to the crux of the things, like the real Landozers. How many of those boys really performed at the National Week?
Did they get opportunities to display their performance?
Everyone played. Everyone you'll get at least 1 or 2 games, I guess.
Okay.
So, but the point is that how many really took it? And the main thing that I'm actually again talking about is that how do we, all at professional level, give, say, we talk about still the so-called township coaches. Township coaches, I'm not saying they're doing a great job. No, the point is that the best boys go to the elite schools. And those elite coaches are the ones responsible for their development, especially the critical part of these boys who are batters development. Those that come from the hubs or not so cool schools, they struggle to get up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So most of the time you won't necessarily get them. I'm not even putting them in this conversation.
Yeah.
The reality is that if you don't go to an elite school, you may not make it in cricket, and your chances are even way slim. Now I'm talking about the boys that who don't have slim chances, who do luckily enough get a bursary or have parents who are able to pay for them. Let's look at the Proteas team right now, for example. Andile Petlokwayo went to an elite school. Tema Bavum went to an elite school. Kagiso Rabat went to an elite school. Lunyingiti went to an elite school. I'm just talking about the so-called elite. Kwena Mapaka, who's now up there, went to an elite school. Yes, he's a bowler. But even Richard Seletswan, who's part of the Lions right now, is going to an elite school. So these boys' developments, how do we say when they're not making it? We say, Okuba, it's
The system.
township coaches.
Township. Yeah.
I think for me, I think the part that touched me is that we can't put township coaches in this.
Okay, so you're saying that the article that you read initially put the responsibility, or aka the blame, on
Some of the blame.
Some of the blame on. Are you saying the township coaches are without any?
I'm saying township coaches are with not blame if you're taking all the cream
The cream of the crop.
crop and going to elite schools. So isn't the blame with the elite coaches in these schools who are not able to tap into these boys to get to the next level?
Okay.
Or what is the difference between that cream of black players, black African players, with the cream of the other races? Because they all go to the same school.
They do. I think the reason I'm perhaps in limbo is because I I do feel no one is without blame, one way or another, when it comes to developing a player. I understand where you're coming from in the sense of we've taken the players from their townships and their township coaches or the township infrastructure and so on and so forth, and we've placed them in elite schools where they have access to elite cricket training and facilities. While that is the main factor, I do firmly believe that a foundational coach, aka your township coach, still should try to assist you or coach you as a player or junior player outside of the said infrastructure. I think what I'm trying to get at is the moment a player is taken and is moved or relocated to an elite school system for their cricket access and their development, township coaches become hands off.
But is it their fault that they're hands off? Or is the fact that maybe the boy feels like they have enough coaching at that elite school? Do you know what I'm saying? Most of them, they don't go back to their coaches and say, coach, it's off season now. Can you work with me? Instead, during off season, chances are there may be a program at school. All right? season of the school, or they taking up another sport in the school based on the bursary that they have. So, and when a boy leaves the township, maybe may go play 1 or 2 games during the season or whatever, but the coaching, the one part where I do blame township coaches, it's where?
Where?
Is women's cricket. Because the ladies or girls don't go to, yes, the ladies or girls don't go to what do you call this thing? Elite schools. They play their cricket
Club cricket
at
level.
club cricket level. So Soweto Pioneers, for example, supposed to be producing black African batters that are good
In terms of women's cricket.
in terms of women's cricket. Do you get what I'm saying? At national level. We go to Cape Town, be it Ulanga, Okukule, Toy, Kailich. Do you hear what I'm saying? They're supposed to be producing something. Do you hear what I'm saying? And to some extent, you can say these teams have, but no one elite has come through.
I want to say something. Like it's been at my head right now while we were speaking about boys cricket, male cricket, and so on and so forth. Not to jump off the female cricket.
No. It was just an example.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. I also do think it's more around. I don't want to use the word cultural difference, but it's around those nuances. And just to like ngizoyibeka ngesiXhosa because I think it makes sense to me ngesiXhosa even though andingomXhosa. Into esibethayo thina singabantu besintu impakamo. Xa unyuselwa ngokwe-opportunities or ngokokukhula basically or ngokwetalente le unayo, xa unyuselwa ubekwa kwi-space apho unazo ezo access, uye ujongele phantsi imvelaphi yakho, uye uyijongele phantsi uzive wena kuloo ndawo kuyinto yobana urayithi ngoku, so ungayicingi into yobana ubuyela emva, aka ubuyela kwii-coaches zakho ze-foundation or ii-coaches zakho zaselokishini kusenokukunceda ngoba kucontributor to ukomelela kwakho xa uphaa phambili. I don't know who can translate that for me. I don't know how to put it in English. English is definitely not my first language, but I do think that there's a cultural dynamic. We have dogs. I do think that there's pets. I do think that there's a cultural dynamic around why Black African players, the moment they are elevated to elite school cricket, do tend to get lost in the envisionment of development or get lost in the nuances and the tones of a new environment and so on and so forth. I do feel there is a classism situation attached to why township coaches do get outcasted the moment a township player moves to a school that is deemed an elite school.
And like your point, it means that you agree with me again in the sense township coaches should not be in this conversation of saying they are the ones or even the facilities. Okay. What we should be blaming township coaches and clubs or schools is the fact that there are no clubs that are performing at a high level.
There are no township clubs that are performing at a high level. Yes.
Then we can speak on that. But in terms of the elite players that are already at a high level, be it provincial cricket, which is professional cricket, or national level, we cannot be saying there's no batters at that level because of township coaches or facilities in townships. It's because that cream of Black African players, most of them were either given bursaries or went to the specific schools, and they were produced by those schools. So let's look at the system within those schools. What is it that's making them not perform?
Okay.
In those schools or right after they leave those schools?
Okay. So we're saying that maybe it's time to look into what is being done within these elite schools that essentially creates semi-performing black batters or black African batters or black African bowlers or black African cricketers, essentially.
Yes. And another thing I think that's important is that once they get into the system, the unions, right, in those systems, what is it that's happening
That is
with them?
also
So
neglecting their development.
development.
Got it. I would agree with you there when it comes to the union side of everything. I do feel that coaches within that space don't focus on continuous nurturing of a player, black African players specifically. I think they do when it comes to other players that are non-African black. But that's a topic for another day.
Yes, yes. Thank you for being with us at No Dirty Whites, powered by 46 Out. Until next time, I'm Sent.
I'm Miss Molefe, and I wasn't even supposed to be here because I was busy doing other things. And then this man was like, "Hey, podcast time."
Bye, guys.